Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another Zagger-tastic stream. It is I, your friend, the one, the only, Z-A single God, Zaggard. And I hope you're all having a wonderful morning, noon, night, evening, whatever time it is for you today. Welcome back to the Dragon's Den, my lovely dragon-loving friends. And I hope you're all having a wonderful Monday, beginning of your week. It's getting very chilly here where I live, but that is A-okay because tis the season for Christmas, which is why we'll be starting our Christmas music from Stream Beats. Thank you again, Hair Seller. I'm liking this Christmas set so far. It's not too in your face, but it's in your face just enough. But guys, if you have read the title, you know exactly what we're getting into. We are getting into a very specific tier list. Not a tier list of movies, not a tier list of books or TV shows. No, a tier list of the villains in our favorite Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. And yes, that does include the very odd stepchild of the Incredible Hulk. This does include it. So I will be including both the villains from that in this, but I'm also going to be including certain villains in certain movies that they were just kind of a part of, but it's going to get kind of confusing. But bear with me. We'll go in order of movies, starting with the first one, obviously, Iron Man. But before we do that, we have to say hello to our good friend Tokoyami, Lily, and Yukino Circle. Welcome, all of you, to the wonderful Dragon's Den, and thank you for stopping by. Again, it means a lot to have you here. This is going to be fun, considering I don't watch or read as much Marvel as I do DC. Christmas music never gets my approval, unlike mid-November. I love Christmas music. Christmas music is good. I really do like all Christmas music. There's very few Christmas songs I do not like, and I've never understood people who are like, oh, I hate hearing Christmas music all the time during December. The other 11 months of the year, you're just hearing the same top 10 songs anyways, so why does it matter? I've never understood people who complain about just listening to Christmas music. You listen to the same music all the time. That logic doesn't make sense to me. There's no argument that I can hear that makes that logic make more sense than, oh, well, the other rest of the year we're listening to the top 10 songs, even though it's the same like 30 songs, maybe, if you're lucky, over and over and over and over and over again. But that's just me. I love Christmas music. If you don't love Christmas music, let me know down below. But here's our Marvel Cinematic tier list. We'll start with the first one, the one, the only, Iron Man 1. Which already Marvel's starting off with more than one villain in their movie. But first we'll start with the first one they try to make out to be the villain. I think his name is Raza. This guy. Oh. Marvel tier list. I messed up. I forgot. But don't worry. I figured it out. I'm not that. I got it this time, guys. But yeah, we start off with Raza. He's not a bad villain. He's intimidating. He's scary. He gets blown up and all he gets is this cool ass burn scar on his face. Really, it should have burned off like half his face, but it's Hollywood. They want to have the sexy scars. They don't want to have like the actual realistic bad scars. You've never seen Iron Man 1? You've never seen Iron Man 1? Really? Lily, come on. Iron Man 1 is good. It's the reason the MCU is as big as it is. It's such a good film. But yeah, so this is the first villain we get. He's intimidating. He's cool. He's a basic kind of like Saturday morning cartoon villain. Doesn't really like he's intimidating, but he doesn't make you think about anything. It's just this is a bad guy. So I'm just gonna put him in C because there's nothing really special about him except for that he's the villain. That's about it. Not really enough. Then we get Obadiah Stane, aka Warmonger. Or Ironmonger. That's his name, Ironmonger. It's War Machine and Ironmonger. And he's a very interesting villain because he was trying to trick Tony into giving him all this new tech, and then he wanted Tony killed so he could take over the company and just make a bunch of money. Good villain. Again, nothing special about him, but the acting for both of them is great, of course. I'm not going to say whether the acting for any of these characters was bad. I think the acting for every one of these villains was done pretty well. Just whether or not they were good. And he's, again, just very middle of the road. He's like, I'm a villain. I want money. So I'm just gonna put them in C tier. I feel like we're gonna get a lot of C tier, so I'm actually gonna shrink these guys down. Normally I wouldn't shrink them down this much, but I feel like we're gonna get a lot of C tier villains here. I have a feeling for that, guys. AB, he's pretty decent villain, especially for the first. Like I said, for the first one, he's decent. That's why I put him in C. C is like decent. Like, yeah, that's a villain. Don't hate him. Don't love him. He's there. Serves the plot perfectly fine. Good enough. However, the next film we get is, what's it called? Incredible Hulk. And we technically, again, get two villains. We get Abomination, who's just kind of a CGI fest. Nothing. He's not even special, so I just put him in E tier. Like, it's cool to see him fight Hulk, but besides that, he's kind of nothing. So he's going in that little E tier box. And then we also get Thunderbolt Ross as a villain in this. Now I know he shows up again later in Civil War, but he's basically the villain in this for like the first half of the film. Like, rewatch it, he's the villain. He's okay. Not a huge fan. It's just the whole government man. I want my weapons. I want my weapons. So I just put him in D. He's, you know, yeah, I think he was a better villain in Civil War, because he kind of was a villain in Civil War. But even then, I'm just gonna put him in the D tier. He's okay. Not great. I could have done with better villains in that film, but that film was kind of a whole mess. The next film we get is actually not Captain America Thor. It's actually Iron Man 2. And we kind of, again, we get two villains. We get, what's his name? Whiplash and Hammer. All right, so let's go with Whiplash first. Oops. Wait. I don't know why it's zooming in now. Now, Whiplash is a fine villain. He's fine. His whole thing is like, I'm mad at Tony Stark because his dad and my dad worked together to create the arc reactor, but then my dad was doing criminal stuff and went to jail and died in jail, and because my dad died in jail, it's his fault, and like that part of him is like, his motivation. Like, I get his motivation, but it's also kind of, his threat level was kind of high. He was able to basically copy Tony's tech, which was pretty cool. I like that, but yeah, I agree. D tier. He's the same as Thunderbolt Ross, not that much. Hammer, on the other hand, I like Hammer a lot. Not because he's a good villain, but because he's so extra and so stupid. The only thing I don't like about it is by the end of the film, he's just an idiot. He's just a complete idiot. That's the only thing I don't like. Other than that, I find every scene in him to be hilarious because it's just so funny, and how he's like, I'm special. I'm as cool as Tony. I'm as cool as Tony Stark, man. Look at me. I'm a better look at Tony Stark. But then he's just kind of a loser throughout the film. So, instead, we're gonna put him in D tier. That whole movie was kind of a movie. So, what movies are these? I'm very confused. Oh, Marvel. Yeah, these are the Marvel films. Yeah, this is Iron Man 2. Then the next film we get is Thor 1. And again, we do have two villains, because Loki is a villain in that film. Rewatch that film and tell me Loki isn't acting like a villain at all. He literally tried to wipe out an entire race of people to please his dad, because he's like, I want daddy to love me. I want daddy to love me more than anyone. So I'm gonna kill this whole race of people because glory and all. And then we also have Laufey, who's kind of a villain, but he doesn't really do much in the film. Thor is a weird film. Thor does a lot of the fish out of the water stuff, so you don't really get to see much of Asgard villainy, you know? So Laufey doesn't really do much in the film, so he's just kind of there to be there. So because of how useless he is, I'm actually going to kind of put him in the E tier, because he's cool and all, but he doesn't do much for the film. Except for, like, he's there in the beginning to be like, boy, you don't understand your place. and I want to kill Odin, and then he gets killed by Loki. So, and Loki in this movie is fine. I'm not gonna put Loki here because he has his whole own film in Avengers, but in that film he's fine. If he was only a villain in Thor 1, I would put him in C tier, maybe B tier. He really is much better in Avengers. But next we get the one, the only Captain America, which means we get the Red Skull. And I love the Red Skull. He's like, I mean, I don't agree with him, obviously. He's a horrible person. Horrible person. But I love like the charisma on stage of him being, and the evilness, and he's like, I am already perfect, and stuff like that. So I like him a lot in this. But other than that, he's fun, but he's not super great. So I'm gonna put him in the B tier. I do like him though. He was a fun villain for Captain America. All right, so anyways, Red Skull's great. I liked him, but he wasn't super amazing. And then we finally get Avengers, and Loki's the main villain of Avengers. And this is where people start really liking Loki as a character, just as a character, not as a good guy. And some people are like, oh, he doesn't count as a villain anymore. Loki's not a villain anymore, so he doesn't count. But his first 2 films, he was the villain. He was straight up the villain. He was doing bad things for personal reasons. That is a villain. Then by Thor 2, he becomes an anti-villain. Some people try to say he's an anti-hero, which is incorrect. Because an anti-hero is someone who does bad things for good reasons. Whereas if you watch Thor 2 again, Loki is doing good things for selfish reasons. So he's an anti-villain. All right, he's going from villain to anti-villain, and then he goes to anti-hero. Loki is really fun, really good, really helped like just take MCU. This film really took MCU from this to here to here. That's how, and Tom Hiddleston as Loki was a big part of that. That being said, I think he's an A tier villain. He's A tier. Because there's still like his whole thing, like he's kind of whiny in it. Like he has some great charisma in it. But he's not like, he doesn't really make you think about things. It's just like, he's a villain. An S tier villain to me is someone who really makes you think about, like what, like they really make you feel something for the villain. They make you want the villain to succeed a little bit. Or at the very least, there's like he's really close to it, but he's not S tier for me. He's not S tier for me. If this was back right after the first film came out, he'd definitely be S tier. But we've gotten so many good villains now that I can't put him in S tier. Not because he's bad. There's just some of the few that I think are that much better, and he just doesn't touch it for me. He gets really close, but he just misses the mark. All right, and after Avengers, the first film we get is Iron Man 3, and I would say that the villain is Trevor Slattery, by Ben Kingsley. I would say that it's him. But we all know it's Killian, who's the Mandarin. And if this was a Bond film, he would be a great villain. He's a great like spy movie villain. But for a Marvel movie, he was kind of forgettable. He's kind of like, I like him, but it's just like, it's another guy in a suit, really? Another one? Okay. All right. Another guy who has some grudge with Tony because of some slight that happened like 30 years ago or whatever, or 10 years ago. You know, I didn't love him. I thought he was cool, but he's just kind of whatever. So I put him in the D tier. Aldrich Killian. I'm not even gonna call him the Mandarin. He's Aldrich Killian. I could give him C tier, but I don't. There are things in it I like and things in it I don't like. It was kind of... So I blame it kind of on this guy. And his plan is kind of a little... It's a little bit too egotistical, his plan. But anyways, the next one after that, we get Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Or not Falcon, that's the TV show. Captain America and the Winter Soldier. That's the one I was thinking about. And again, we get 2 villains. We get Yeah, this is a horrible picture. This is terrible. But this is Winter Soldier. It turns out it's Bucky. He is a very cool threat. He's such a cool villain. But he's being mind controlled by someone else, and to me, that always just drops you down. It means you're not even your own. If the character doesn't think for themselves, they're not a good villain. They're just really not, in my opinion. Like unless it's like a henchman who's like really loyal, and he chooses to follow this guy, then yeah. But if you're being mind controlled, not a great villain in my opinion. That's kind of like so I put him in the D tier because as a villain, he's threatening, but he's not really. I'll put him in the C tier actually, because he's a cool villain, but he's not. Again, he doesn't think for himself, which is a problem for me. But then we get Robert Redford, who turns out he's secretly working for Hydra. This was a cool villain. I saw it coming, but he was still cool. I liked him a lot. He was fun, entertaining, good charisma, and every scene on screen, you believe him as a villain. You believe him. I like him. You found the twist stupid. Nah, I didn't find it stupid, but I do think it's kind of whatever. So I put him in C. It's a very, very basic twist. Not something that was super amazing, but he's fine. Robert Redford, fine. I like him. I like that movie. It's my favorite Captain America movie for sure. So I really like it. Both the villains are kind of but the story is really good, and they kind of prop it up. Yes, hail Hydra. What are you, cheerleaders? Actually, that was from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Then what's after Captain America 2? I think next was Guardians of the Galaxy, actually, where we get Ronan the Accuser. Now, Ronan the Accuser is a very interesting villain. I find him very intimidating. I like his story. I like his story because he has lore behind him about the whole Skrull and Kree war, and he's like, I don't want peace, I want destruction. Ugh. Like, I like that. That's a cool like Dungeons and Dragons villain right there. The Iron Man 3 twist. Oh yeah, the Iron Man 3 twist was it was fine. Like, it would have been fine if it wasn't an Iron Man 3. If it was like a James Bond film, it would have been way more interesting. But in Iron Man 3, it was like, he was boring. Nah, he wasn't boring. I liked him a lot. I thought he was really entertaining. The only problem for me was the ending. Eyeliner guy. S for looking so on point in law. I like your thinking, Lily. No, but like, he would have been a lot better villain if Guardians of the Galaxy was more about the villain, but it was more about the characters meeting each other and coming together and becoming friends, even family, and learning to share a common goal. And so he's not super great, but I like him okay. I liked every scene he was in, except for maybe the last one with the dance scene. So I put him in the C tier. He's fine. Like, again, these are characters that are just fine. There's nothing super amazing. There's nothing that bugs me about them. They're just fine. And then we get literally the worst villain in all of MCU. Everyone agrees this is the worst villain. In Thor 2, Malekith. What a waste of Chris Eccleston. I just gotta say, what a waste of Chris Eccleston. Chris Eccleston is great. I love Chris Eccleston. I love his run as Doctor Who. I haven't seen him in really much anything else, but this was just such a, like, you can see his acting. He is acting as hard as he can, but you can tell they literally gave him like a page of dialogue, and he's like, here's your lines, and you're like, this is it? And they're like, yep. Nothing else? No. All right, I'll my best. Like, I really feel bad. It kind of makes me mad how much they wasted Chris Eccleston, because Chris Eccleston is amazing. But he goes in the F tier. He was, the whole movie is just so boring, and just, I hate that movie. So literally thinking about it is giving me a small headache. I'm not even kidding. Like, right here, I can feel my head going like, stop talking about it. But anyways, after Thor 2, we get, what was after Thor 2? After this, the movies get kind of jumbled. I think it was Ant-Man, or was it? Yeah, I think it was Ant-Man after Thor 2. And we get kind of an interesting villain in Yellow Jacket. But again, it's just another evil corporate businessman who's like, I'm gonna make the I'm gonna recreate Pym particles, and I'm gonna sell it around the world and as like an ultimate weapon. And Hank Pym's like, no, don't do that. Like, I don't want everyone having this ability. it fucks with the people who use it, and it's really dangerous. And he's like, no, I'm gonna do it. He's entertaining, like, and it's not a waste of someone like Chris Eccleston, but he's also just kind of nothing. Like, he's really forgettable. Like, his costume is the most memorable thing about it. The rest of him is kind of, so I'd put him in the E tier. C tier was good enough. I didn't think he was good enough. I thought he was, the rest of the film is really great. The rest of the film is good. He himself is kind of, That's why I put him in E. E is for D is for dumb. E is for and F is for, God, get this out of my sight. Let's see. After Ant-Man is was it Iron Man? Was it Avengers 2? I think after that it's Avengers 2. Well, we're already at Avengers 2. We got here so fast. So yeah, we get James Spader as Ultron. And James Spader plays Ultron to me. Ultron is great. Ultron is probably one of the best Marvel MCU villains for the first half of the film. The first half of the film, he's great. You're like, every scene he's in, you're like, what is he gonna do? What are his plans? He's like so intimidating. Like, how are they gonna beat him? Oh my God. He's so great. Whoa. And then by the end of the film, he's just a robot. Like, the last third of the film. Rewatch the last third of the film. Watch all the scenes and you're just like, where'd all the charisma go? Where were all his interesting lines and his dialogue and his thought? Like, all of it's gone now. Not a huge fan of that. Didn't love it. So they ruined him by the end. He was so great in the beginning. He could have been A tier or S tier, but by the end, I don't think they knew what to do with him at the end anymore. Like, the only good line from him at the end is when he's like, all of you versus all of me. And then you see all the robots, but then they're just like drones. They don't even feel like extensions of him. They're just like robot zombies, basically. Better in the comics. Yeah, he's better. He's way better in the comics. But he was so good at the beginning of the film. Like, that beginning really keeps him from going down to C or D for me. If he could have been like with Loki in the A tier, or maybe even the S tier if they had like kept his like just his danger level up. But really, the danger level near the end is that the city is gonna fall and kill everybody. Not so much that he's there. He's pretty destroyable. After that, we get I think it's Civil War. I want to say. Yeah, I want to say no. I think the next one was Guardians 2. Next one was Guardians 2. Yeah. And Guardians 2 again, they go back to the whole double villain thing, which not a huge fan of, but. So first it starts with these like golden people. They're so boring. They're interesting tech-wise, but other than that, they're fucking boring. They're whatever. Put them in the E tier. No, actually, I'm gonna put them in the F tier. They're so forgettable. They're so forgettable. They go in the F tier. Or forgettable. That's what F is. F is forgettable. That's what F tier is. Then we get Ego, which they completely changed from the comics, but also I don't care. And Peter Quill's dad. He's interesting because he wants to change the universe to be like him, because he finds all their life to be boring and they're not interesting. He's like, ugh, bleh, not good enough. The greatest part about him being a villain is the fact that he killed Peter Quill's mom, just so he could achieve his goal in life. And he's like, I'm sorry, I had to kill her. That's why I had to give her that tumor. And then that makes Peter Quill go, what the fuck? You're not my family anymore. So he's cool, but he's not something super great. Again, he's kind of forgettable, but he's not that like he's not as forgettable as the Golden People. The Golden People were fucking bad. Ego, yeah, I'd put him in E tier. He's kind of whatever. Guardians 2, the villain is bad, but the movie is fun, especially if you watch them back to back. It just feels like a 4-hour long movie. That's kind of fun. He was kind of boring. Yeah, he's kind of eh. Next was Captain America Civil War. I'm 99% sure about that one. And the first villain we were all hoping we would get this villain because he was so interesting in the comics because he kills Captain America, was Crossbones. Crossbones is there for like 10 minutes. He's kind of nothing, so I'm going to put him in the E tier. That's all I have to say. He's there for 10 minutes and then he dies. Literally, that's what happens. He's there for 10 minutes and he dies. The real villain is Zemo. And Zemo, people have mixed feelings about this. Andrew doesn't like Zemo because he thinks like the plot is dumb, but I think the plot makes sense. It's just you don't agree with the government, which is fine. I didn't agree with the government's decision. The whole Sokovia Accords is dumb. Oh, you're gonna be on a list of people to use their powers, and we have to say whether or not you can use your powers to help people. That's so stupid. That's just government trying to take control. I liked Baron Zemo's kind of plan. His plan was really cool, using brainwashing the Winter Soldier again, using him to trick them into thinking that there are going to be more Winter Soldiers, and then trying to get them to kill each other. I really liked it. It was good. So I think he's okay. He's C tier. I liked it. Okay. He's not something super amazing, like I said, but he's okay. Let's see, what was after this? I think after this was Black Panther. Like right after this was Black Panther. And we get two villains. The movie starts us off thinking it's what's his name? Not Killmonger. It's the other guy. This guy. I forget. Claw. Yeah, Claw. That's his name. Claw. And he's fun. It's Andy Serkis. Andy Serkis is great. You completely disagree. You completely disagree in what way? I know at least one villain on the list who belongs in S tier, and it is not him. No. It's neither of the characters from Black Panther. I don't think either of the characters belong in S tier. Claw is fun. I like Claw. But he's kind of a setup villain, so he's not super great. So I put him he's in the D tier. He's fine, but he doesn't do much, so it's kind of like, eh. And then we get Killmonger. Killmonger is really... I think Killmonger's cool. But I don't love him. There are some people who are like, Killmonger's the best Marvel villain. Killmonger was right. He's 100% right. No, those people are idiots. If anybody ever tells you that a villain from anything is correct, that person is going to be the next, like, what are they called? War criminal. Like, seriously, that person is one step away from being a war criminal. None of these villains are right. That's why they're villains. Killmonger, I don't know if I might put him in B. I like him more. I'd put him in B. He's fine, but I don't agree with him at all. His logic is really dumb. His logic is like, oh, because other people were oppressive, now we need to be the oppressors and push people down. That is dumb. No, he wanted to kill children because racism. That was his thing was literally because there was racism, I'm going to be racist now and kill children because they deserve it. And it's like, that's stupid. That is terrible. He had the right idea, though, that Wakanda needed to intervene more. They can't pretend to just be a farming nation. They need to show that they need to use their technology to help people. That is true. That I agree with him. They needed to help people more. If they had helped in the world more, the whole world could have... What's the word? Could have probably evolved even more, and we could have improved. I mean, it probably also would have made terrible weapons, and we would have killed each other more. But Wakanda could have helped more. I definitely agree with that logic. So some of his logic is correct. His final end goal was stupid. So I put him in B tier. He's not as great as Loki, but he's kind of close. If he had a little bit better of a goal, if he was more, if I agreed with his goal more, maybe I would have put him higher. But I disagree with his goal. He literally made it so there could never be another Black Panther that is evil. Honestly, I think he's like the worst part of the world. We don't know that for sure yet, because Marvel can always pull out of their ass, oh, we have a secret extra grove with the heart herb, and we have secret seeds that he didn't burn. So until they say in the next Black Panther film, like, oh yeah, there can never be another Black Panther. Until they say that, I'm not gonna believe that was the last of the heart grove herb. I'm just saying that for now, okay? I mean, that was his plan. His plan was obviously to do that. But Marvel can literally pull anything out of their ass, be like, oh, there's more heart herb. We can find more. There's more of it. Don't worry. And Marvel's gonna do that. They're gonna do that. Like, come on, how are we gonna ever have another Black Panther movie if you don't have the heart herb? Let's be honest. I mean, we're not gonna, because they retired the character of T'Challa. I don't think they should have done that. I think that was a bad decision, but... Well, not a bad decision. I just disagree with it. And I have my reasons, but it's fine. Then the next film we get is actually one of my favorite films. And if you know anything about me, it's my favorite Marvel character, my favorite comic book character of all time. Marvel will probably retcon. Yeah, Marvel retcon. I mean, they're already bringing back Captain America. Just think about what I just said. They're already bringing back Chris Evans to play Captain America. Look it up. They've already admitted to it. But anyways, the next one we get is... it's just, in my opinion, one of the best villains ever. Vulture. Vulture is fucking... This was great. I love this villain because he's not like some big, grandiose, world-ending villain. He's just a blue-collar, I'm just stealing this tech, selling these weapons to make money for my family. I love this villain. And Michael Keaton... It's Michael Keaton, right? I'm like 90% sure. Someone double check for me. I love him. And this is me being biased. I'm going to 100% admit this because this is my tier list. I'm being super biased. I think he's an S tier. I really do. Because I think he was so great. He was so great as this villain. I sympathized with him. He made me think about the world. It changed my perspective of the world of Marvel. I loved him. His look was neat and he had a decent story. Like, again, if you don't think he's S tier, that's fine. But I loved him. I loved every scene with him. He was like so amazing. He was, oh my God. I want to see more with the Vulture in it. I hope he's in the third Spider-Man. Please be in the third Spider-Man. But he might not be. You know, they're kind of doing the multiverse. They showed Doc Ock, Electro, and Goblin, and Sandman. He could be one of the, they could be doing the Sinister Six, and he could be the fifth or sixth of the Sinister Six. Like Spider-Man's first villain in this story. So it's great. I loved it. Then we get Ant-Man 2. And I was trying to look up the villains for Ant-Man 2. I remember one of them. Like, one of them I remember. This guy. I don't remember him at all. Does anyone remember who this is? Does anyone remember who this is at all? You completely disagree with what? You can't just say I disagree with that. Disagree with what? What are you disagreeing with, Toko? You have to let me know so I can understand what you're disagreeing with. Because you're just saying I completely disagree. You can completely disagree with the fact that Marvel is good, that Spider-Man's a cool character, like what part? But anyways, I don't remember who this guy is. I don't remember him. I've seen every Marvel movie 3 times. I don't remember this guy at all. Who was he? This is an Ant-Man 2. I mean, Ant-Man 2 is a really forgettable movie, but who the heck was this guy? He goes in F tier. I don't even remember. I don't even know his name. All right? He's worse than Malekith because I don't remember him. That's worse. That's so bad. He goes in F tier. Little F tier. And then we get I forget what her Ghost, right? The pull of Loki. I've never seen that man in my life. Yes. Exactly. I don't remember him at all. Was he like a Russian mafia gangster or something? Doesn't matter. We get Ghost. Ghost was a bad villain. Because she's not even really a villain. She's a threat at the beginning, and then halfway through it's like, oh, she's not a villain. She's dying. We need to save her. And then they just... Marvel magic. She's saved. Cool. Really the villain in... This is gonna be controversial, but the real villain in Ant-Man 2 is the FBI. Because they'll arrest him if they find out he's doing this Ant-Manning stuff. That's really the villain in Ant-Man 2. So she goes in E tier. She was more memorable than him. Not great. She was kind of boring, though. She's just kind of eh. But more memorable than whoever that guy was. Yeah, she's cool, but she's also nothing. Like, what? I disagree with Vulture being S tier. Why do you disagree? Because I think he's amazing. I loved his performance. I loved his character. I loved his backstory. He actually made me think about things. I loved everything about him. I loved Vulture. Next we get another forgettable villain, but I liked him. I remember him pretty well. Is Kaiselius in Doctor Strange. Now Doctor Strange is a weird film, all right? But Kaiselius was an interesting character. I really liked him. I found him really entertaining. But he's also kind of forgettable. I mean, I know Dormammu's kind of the villain, but I'm not even going to put Dormammu on here because he only shows up in the last 10 minutes. And Doctor Strange easily just beats him by going, I have come to make a bargain, which was cool. It was cool. I liked that scene. I liked the whole thing, but He doesn't do much, so I wouldn't really. He's not really the villain. Kaiselius is, and I put him in D. He's fine. He's not that great. I would have liked a better villain. He was a great villain, but not that great. I think he was that great. I really do. I thought anything interesting take on magicians going bad. Yeah, he's neat, but he's not. They're better. And then we get Thor 3, Thor Ragnarok. Yeah, and we get Jeff Goldblum as the not the Collector. What's his name? I forget. He's the Collector's brother, the Collector's cousin. I can't remember exactly what his name is. If somebody can look up his villain name real quick, but Jeff Goldblum, he was fun. He's fun and weird. He has some. I like that one part where it's like, "What do you want to do with the slaves?" No, I don't like that word. I don't like that word. No, I don't like the word. Prisoners with jobs. That's a good word. I like him. He's fun. I put him in the B tier. He's a fun villain, just fun. But then of course we get Hela. I like Hela. Hela was fun. She was intimidating. She was interesting. She pushed the lore forward. She told us a little bit about the past lore. The Grandmaster, that's it. The Grandmaster. Thank you, Lily. I put him in B tier. I think Hela's A tier. Hela's great, but she's like Loki. She goes in A tier. I just realized I put all the Asgard villains in A tier. They're both really great, but they don't really get that S tier for me. They don't really make me like, I'm not like, oh man, I love this character. In this, they make me go like, man, I love this character, but I could just use a little more. Then next we get one film I don't really like, and the villain in it is pretty bad. Captain Marvel. I forget this guy's name. He's eh. That's all I have to say. He's just kind of eh. He doesn't even feel like a threat, to be honest. So he's just gonna go in E tier. I don't have much to say about him. And then, no wait, actually we don't get this character yet. First we get the big boy, Big Daddy Thanos. Endgame, Infinity War. You know the whole shtick. You know everything. I love Thanos. Thanos is a great villain. I'm trying to think. Do I want to put him in S tier or do I want to put him in A tier? Because I like him a lot. But is he S tier for me? Because honestly, yeah, Captain Marvel is really. I put him in A tier. I liked him, but I think what I like about Infinity War and Endgame is more the heroes coming together to stop the villain, not necessarily the villain himself. And again, he's another one where people think he's right. Because scientifically, yes, the rate of consumption, you can't just double all the resources, blah, blah, blah. But if you think about it for more than a couple minutes, okay, yes, you can't just double the resources once. But they're the Infinity Gauntlets. There's nothing stopping you from going, I double it again. I double it again. I double it again. Yes, it hurts you and ultimately kills you. But what you could do is what Thanos said. Remember Thanos' original plan for his home planet was that he would randomly select people to kill to save their planet and the resources. Well, why don't you do that with just go to random planets and randomly select someone and tell them, hey, you have to snap this thing and double all the resources on the planet or I'm going to kill your whole family, right? Just do that. That person dies, you double the resources, take the Infinity Stones. When you need to double them again, go to another planet. Hey, double all the resources. Or quadruple them, or 10 times them, or 100 times them. Why can't... It doesn't say there's a limit that you can double it. Or like you can only double it. No, you can go as much... You could 1 million times all the resources in the universe by going... Do that. But Thanos is greedy and selfish. He wants to control everything. That's why he's like, I want to kill half the universe, because I'm a god. I am a god. That's why he's still a villain. Like what he was trying to do makes sense. He was trying to save everybody else by making it so the resources aren't being sucked up as much. But you could easily just find someone, force them to snap their fingers with the Infinity Gauntlet, double all the resources. You could do that. But Thanos is selfish. He's selfish. He wants to be in control of everything. He wants to rule the world. He wants to be a god. That's why he's a bad villain, in my opinion. Or not bad villain, sorry. That's why he's not S tier. He's A tier. He's still a good villain. But he's still wrong. And then next we get Mysterio. Mysterio is great. Like, amazing. great. Oh my god. I loved Mysterio. He was believable as a hero. I knew he was the villain right away because I know comics. But he was a believable hero, and then he's a great villain. His plan was so great. Use Tony Stark's tech to to control the world, more or less. I think it was something. He was great. I loved him, and every scene with him was great. Like that scene in the hallway. Those 2 scenes with the CG where you can't see anything. Yeah, I'm with Lily on this. S tier. They made kind of a goofy villain into something amazing. I think we all agree he's S tier. What is it with Spider-Man villains being so good? You know what? Now that I think about it, Loki does go in S tier. I'm changing my mind. I can change my mind. This is my tier list. Yeah, these are the 3 S tier villains for me. We only have 3 villains left, and one of the last ones is terrible. Oh wait, Loki's an S tier, of course. Like I said, I have to think about it. Mysterio's S. Wait, Mysterio's S tier. What are you talking about? Mysterio's right here. I put him in S tier. I put Mysterio in S tier. Come on, Lily. I moved Loki up. I didn't move anyone down. I moved Loki up 1. So yeah, these 3 are probably my S tier. Oh, you don't have your glasses on? Oh, okay, that explains it. The next villain we got, I'm trying to remember which movie was next. I think it was Black Widow. Yeah, Black Widow. I'm just gonna say, the villains in Black Widow are some of the worst. They are literally some of the worst. It's these 2. And I'm just gonna lump them together because they're both equally as bad. First of all, Taskmaster is such a cool villain in the comics. And in the games, everything else. I love Taskmaster in the games. I hate Taskmaster in this movie. Holy fuck. It just turns out to be... Spoilers for Black Widow, by the way. Spoilers for Black Widow, by the way. It just turns out to be his daughter who he's mind controlling. He doesn't even have any of Taskmaster's cool abilities where he sees what you do and he instantly copies you. That's like in the mask or whatever. And they only show it happen 1 time. It's a waste of Taskmaster. I was so mad when I watched the movie and found that out about Taskmaster. I was like, fuck this. And then the main villain, that guy, not only is he some really boring, I can mind control the other Black Widows, but the old ones can't attack me because when I injected you with my science, my pheromones keep you from attacking me. That's disgusting. What the? I smell you, so now I can't hit you. What the fuck? This guy's just like creepy and weird and stupid, and I hate him. So I put him in the E tier. Oh my god. No, actually F tier. The villains made me so mad. They go in the F tier. All right, I hate what they did with Taskmaster. Yeah, you and me both, Toko. I think everybody hates what they did with Taskmaster. Nobody likes it. That's easily compatible. Nose plugs, or just, break your nose. Like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Just put smelling salts underneath your nose so you can't smell anything. Like, plug up your nose. Anything. Then we get the true Mandarin, leader of the 10 Rings from I know Shang-Chi, but I say Shang-Chi. I like saying Shang-Chi because I can't. Can't stop me. Come at me. But anyways, I don't remember the actor's name for this. I can't remember for the life of me. But he's an actor from China, and he's considered really good in China because he actually acts with his face too. He was phenomenal. He, honestly, until he showed up, the movie was just kind of okay for me. I was like, it's okay. And he shows up and I'm like, the movie's getting good. He makes the movie really good. He's one of the 2 things. Him and Trevor Slattery, Ben Kingsley. 2 amazing actors just make this movie amazing. The main characters are kind of in the film. This guy and Ben Kingsley, they are the golden boys of the Shang-Chi film. So I put him in the A tier. He was so good. My brain needs him. And then, okay, now I'm going to, this next one. This is a spoiler for Eternals. If you have not seen Eternals yet, please skip ahead to the timestamp on the screen. Please skip ahead to the timestamp on the screen. Spoilers are coming right now, okay? Anybody in chat? I'm gonna spoil some stuff for Eternals. All right, so at first the villain in Eternals turns out we think it's gonna be this guy, He's one of the Revenants? No. I think they're called Revenants. Double check for me if you've seen Eternals. If not, it's fine. It's this guy, and he's whatever. Like, he's cool, but he kind of ends up being nothing by the end of the film. So I'm just going to put him in the E. By the end of the film, we find out it's this guy, Icarus. He was a great villain. He was solid. Oh my god, he was such a cool villain. He was a threat. He really believed in his cause. He was going to end all of human life just to bring up another Celestial. It was so cool. And I put him in A tier. I thought he was great. Honestly, yeah, it was nuts. It was nuts. All right, it was so cool. I liked Eternals a lot more than I thought I would. It's not one of my favorites. I wouldn't put it in my top 5, maybe top 10, but I definitely put it in my top 15 Marvel films. This was so good, especially when after Black Widow, which I hated. Black Widow was so bad for me. It was in my bottom 10. It's literally my bottom 10 Marvel films. Like, there's stuff I liked in it, but overall the film, by the end of it, I was like, ugh. Yeah, so it kind of... We should have gotten this movie before Infinity War, honestly. Not, or before Endgame, whenever it's supposed to take place. And so here's my tier list. We got cast the Black Widow villains, the Golden People, Malekith, and the most forgettable Marvel villain in the F tiers. We get the villain for Eternals. We get the villain for Captain Marvel, Ghost, Crossbones, Ego, Yellow Jacket, Lao Fei, and Abomination in E tier. Venom and Carnage. Those aren't Marvel. Those are not Marvel films. That's not part of the MCU. Can somebody look up who... But what? I know what you're talking about. I know what you're talking about. That means it's still not a Marvel film. Still not a Marvel film. It's still a Sony film. Alright, not a Marvel film. I haven't seen it, but I know the cutscene you're talking about. It's not a Marvel film. Not a Marvel film. Not part of the MCU. Not yet. We get Kaiselius, Claw. What's his name? Oh, Aldrich Killian, Hammer, Whiplash, and Thunderbolt Ross in D tier. Baron Zemo. Oh, what's his name? Ronan the Accuser. Robert Redford. I can't remember the character's name. Winter Soldier, Ironmonger, and Raza in C tier. In B tier, we get the Grandmaster, Killmonger, Ultron, Red Skull. In A tier, we get Icarus, the Mandarin, Hela, and Thanos. And then in the S tier, we get Loki, Mysterio, and the Vulture. You disagree with Ego? Interesting. Where would you put Ego? Because I didn't find him that interesting. I thought it was interesting. Where's worst to the worst chick? She's not on here. Who are you talking about? You gotta give me more information than that, because I have no idea who you're talking about. So this is my tier list from the Marvel villains, and I look. Some of these aren't even on other people's lists. You hurt Loki. Oh, you're talking about from the Loki show? I'm not counting any from the shows, only from the movies. Otherwise, I'd have what's the ones from WandaVision, the ones from Falcon and Winter Soldier, and stuff like that. So this is my tier list, guys. If you liked it, let me know down below. Please click that like button and subscribe if you want to see more of this content. And if you have anything else to say, go down in the comments and let me know your thoughts. All right? Bye-bye. Hey everyone, thanks for watching the tier list from my Monday stream. If you want to join in live, click the link to my Twitch channel in the description. If you liked the video, please click that like button. And if you want to see more, click that subscribe button. I'll see you all next time. Have a wonderful day.